What I got here is the holy grail of Sony cameras right now. This is the Sony A1 Mark II paired with the 28-70 f2 G Master. Quick disclaimer, this is a loaner from Sony. I do not get to keep this. No money has changed hands. And Sony does not get to see this before I publish it. I only have this for a week. By now you might already know the specs of this camera combination. So this camera release has gotten a lot of people asking themselves, is this actually a worthy upgrade from the Mark I? And the biggest upgrades that I can see is the grip, the overall design of the body, the new screen, and now this sensor is the same as the A1 Mark I, so there is not much of a difference from the previous camera to this one. It is the best of the best that Sony offers right now. It is the dual stacked sensor, so ISO performance is great, dynamic range is great, low light is great, but that also comes with a hefty price tag of $10,000. Yeah, I know. I took the camera with me to Warsaw, Poland and grabbed some city shots. You can see them here. I tend to shoot at low light. I wanted to push the files a little bit, so I really got to test out the ISO as well. I'm recently shooting on the A7C II, so going over to this was a pretty hefty jump right now, and I can feel that the buttons are so clicky compared to the A7C II. What I love is that you have a button right there. This is now a clickable button. You can hold it or press it, and you can custom everything you want to that button to either be held or pressed. The button at default basically gives you the opportunity to shoot at this burst rate, and then when you hold it or press it, you get this burst rate. But what I think is the even greater purpose of this button, I got this tip from a YouTuber called Kyle Mashna. I hope I say your name right. And what he basically did is to set the camera to an oh shit mode. So let's say you're in a scenario and there's something happening, but you have camera settings set to what you're photographing, and then something happens. You want to grab that shot quickly and secure it. What you do is that you're going to go to custom key dial setting, recall custom hold. You're gonna set the shoot mode to program auto, 30 images per second, exposure compensation, ISO auto, continuous AF, focus area wide. Yeah, basically copy everything that it says right here. So when you apply these settings and hold the button, it basically turns the camera into oh shit mode. The eyepiece cup that you get with it, it is basically new. You have more cushioning in it than before, so you get two eyepieces with this camera. Screen is the same as the A9 III and the A7R5. I had the A7R5 before. I really love this screen. I hope the A7 V also get this screen. At least I told Sony that I want to have this in the A7 V. It also has the new grip. I love this grip. It doesn't make the camera that much taller, but the grip is wider all around, and that is something that I just have been wanting in a Sony camera for so long. I know the A9 III has it, now this has it. I hope all the other cameras in this form factor also gets it. Paired with this lens, it is really nice in the hand. The weight of the 70-28, so light, and it is smaller than the Canon one, so this setup feels great. I recently took this to work for a portrait shoot. It performed so well. Nothing to say about that. It now has auto recognition, so basically you don't have to set it to only human. You can set it to auto and it will basically track whatever it is, like animals, trains and cars, whatever is in the frame, it will understand that that is what to track. The 1-second pre-capture also makes this an incredible camera. You can literally just sit there, half press the button, and when something happens, you take the picture and you have 30 images before that recorded. Also, the dynamic active stabilization. I tried to do a fair test of how the different stabilization modes work. Here you can see with normal stabilization, here's the active stabilization, and here's the dynamic active stabilization. And you can see that it crops in, but at the end of the day, you are getting a stable image. You have to consider though which one to use, because you will get jitters that don't look normal. But I will say, when you're standing still or sitting in a car, something like that, that's where these active stabilizations actually work the best. because it's not made to do this with a camera. It's made more to hold it still. The A1 is actually so near perfect that the review should be more about trying to find what the camera cannot do. The on and off button is actually harder to hit, but maybe that's a good thing because you don't want to turn off your camera mid-shoot or something. Camera button is placed in a weird place. I typically hold my camera like this when I film, and reaching for that button, I want to just hit the button like that, you know, not reach for it like that. Another thing that I don't like is the port covers. They're actually not that great for the most professional camera that Sony has. For my a7C II, it's alright, but I have to say it is the same thing as my a7C II, and for a camera this expensive, it should be at least hard covers that really snaps onto there. So for weather sealing, I would like to see that these would be better. So to wrap this up, I think Sony gave us a lot of upgrades to this camera. Enough to call this an upgrade, but not a whole remake of the whole camera. The lens for me is actually what is the most exciting part about this release. And I might actually get this lens in the future. Now you can finally vlog with the camera, and that is something I actually wanted with the A1. Will I get this camera in the future? Who knows? At least now it has what I wanted in the previous A1. But having two cameras is also something that I value quite high. But Sony, you did really well on this one. This is some of the best you can get in the market right now. And again, thank you Sony for letting me loan this camera. As I said, this is only a loaner. I'm gonna deliver this back today. And with that, I'm just gonna end the video right there. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.